Welcome to the CEN show, a platform where we learn from the world community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your host, Roski Mascani, and on the panel this evening, we got Natasha Wilburn, Sydney Chance, Brother Ahi, and Professor Amin Ra, our master teacher. All right, so this evening, our guest is Brother Ahla. I've been knowing Ahsa for many years, and we lost contact, and we got back in contact through Brother DX. And this brother is a food nutritional researcher, amongst other things. He's been on twice, and each time, very impressive information. The topic this evening is Till Death, Do Your Part. And when he told me that topic, I said, What? Then I thought about it and I said, Oh, I get it. I get it. So let's see if I really get it. Hey, Asa, how you doing, man?
Spectacular. How you doing?
Spectacular. I'm good, man. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming back and explain that
it's my
topic, please. And then if you want to
my pleasure.
tell the audience about yourself, you can, but explain that topic, please.
Okay, the topic, till death do you part. When you come here to this plane, this earth plane, you have a divine responsibility to handle yourself and conduct your affairs and business in order with the whole cosmic arrangement. And it's based off of, as you progress in life, getting information and implementing the things in your life to better yourself and the people around you and your family, and move on, so we progress. So I came up with that topic because that's our responsibility. And I feel like at this time, I think we're in a time of seeking. I think more people are seeking, trying to gain understanding of what's going on. And in doing so, I just feel like people have a responsibility to get the information and implement it in their life, you know, until they transition out of here. So, but this responsibility is to pass it on for the betterment of everybody. There's a bunch of background noise. Who that is? Mute your phone.
I got it.
And the Statue of Liberty is crying because the Statue of Liberty uh, doesn't want to hear this because they don't want people, Statue of Liberty don't want people coming up. So that's it. So, I've been doing the research. I've been doing research for a long, 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 long time. I started researching food and health and stuff in 1987 when I really began in-depth research. And, and I just been adding on and, accumulating knowledge. And I've been, I've kept on it. There's been periods of time where I've slacked off and, just put my energy in other places. But it always comes back around to being back in it, and just maybe a month ago, I had like hundreds of books in storage. I went and started pulling my books out of storage and cleaning them up and putting them back on, putting shelves up and putting them on shelves so I could get back into them, So that's it, man.
That's a good thing, Asa. I want to know when you're going to start making blood neutral again.
Oh, you're a mess, man. You put me on the spot. No, I really need to. And matter of fact, when was this? Oh, just last week. The reason why I stopped making blood neutral, did I ever tell you?
No, I think you
Oh,
did, but tell us why.
yeah, the reason why I stopped making blood neutral is because one of the dominant herbs that I use, and the herb is called kalawala, vanished, and I couldn't get it. And I even had I had a Mexican guy who owns store herbs in Mexico now. He goes down to where's it, Mexico City. Mexico City is like a big hub for herbal raw bulk herbs. It's like, when they have like kind of like trade shows where people come and, that are in the industry to buy and purchase for big companies. Well, Mexico City is one of those hubs where, you know, they have these like a trade or a herbal trade show. So people that own big herbal companies and distribution companies will all go there and try to get their hands. And the guy from Herbs of Mexico, he went down there and he said he would look into it for me, but he was unable to get it for some reason. So I recently, just last week, I found some actually a Jewish company uh, that they said that they can get it, and they're going to look into seeing what kind of quantity um, they can get for me. And so I'm going to look into that. And then I did find somebody else who a company out of Jamaica, because it does grow in Jamaica. So I just got to see how, if I can get it in quantity and get it shipped here at a reasonable price, or else, I'm going to have to stick it to y'all. And I'm not
So,
trying to do that. Just
well,
depends on how much it costs for me to go ahead.
okay. So tell us, what is blood neutral? Explain what it is.
To get, and what happens, so back in the early 90s, I used to, roll with Dr. Sabian. I used to always do his Maya, his formula called Maya, which was his blood tonic, and I would do that all the time. And then as I started learning the herbs and learning where to get herbs and everything, it got to the point where I didn't have to be buying his stuff anymore. I just started making it for myself, making the iron formula. It's basically an iron formula. And when I started making that, people are I don't know, hitting me up, but I started making that formula. I just started making it for myself. And there was an elder sister named Zatari. She was rolling around. She was into the natural holistic thing and making food in LA. And we became friends. And she would come over and visit. And one day she was like, I want some of the herbs you're doing. And I was like, I don't make herbs for people, I make herbs for myself. I said, if you want herbs, Sabi, you can purchase them from his company, which at the time was the Fig Tree. I said, you could purchase them from his company because he sells them. And I said, his herbs are better. And that's what I said. I said, his herbs are better. And the sister went ballistic on me, man. She was like, how dare you? How dare you? And I'm like, what? She says, how dare you say they're bad? His herbs are better. She said, if they're good enough for you to put in your body, that's what I want. I want what you're putting in your body. I don't want something that's coming from somebody else. And I was like, okay, all right. So I started giving her the herbs. And then next thing I know, it was the blood neutral. I started giving her that. And the next thing I know, like people are coming to me, trying to get the blood neutral. And so, I ended up started just making it and supplying it to people. And, reports started coming back to me about what it was doing to people and how it was helping people and healing people. I had one brother who used to get it from me. Because did you get it in the liquid? You got it in the liquid form?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I used to make it in the liquid form and the capsule form, right? And I had a brother, I was getting ready to leave town, and he was like, man, I need to get some blood nutrient. Bring me 3 bottles. And I said, 3 bottles? And he said, yeah, because you're leaving town. I have to have this. So I took it to him, and he said, I never told you this before, but he said, I had a really aggressive herpes. And ever since I've been drinking the blood neutral, it's vanished. I've had no signs or symptoms of it whatsoever. And I said, for real? And he said, yeah. And then I gave it to there was a guy who used to get it and go to he used to make trips to Mexico all the time and hang out in Mexico. And one day he came back and told me that he gave it to a friend of his that I think had syphilis. And he said that person's syphilis went, it was gone. He said it's gone. He was drinking the blood neutral and the syphilis was gone. And I was like, okay. So I just was taking the reports from people over the years as to what it has been doing for them. So all that to say, when I got here to Atlanta, and I was making it when I first got to Atlanta. And then when I lost the ability to get Kalawala, I kind of just said, "Oh hell, man, I see how this is going." For herbal products are getting so going to be scarce and hard for me to get. It's not worth it for me to keep trying to make it. So I just stopped making it altogether.
Oh,
So
is there similar herbs to the one that you was aren't able to get that can possibly
um,
replace
not
it?
on that, yeah, but not on that level. I mean, everything
Okay.
has its own, basically, like its own characteristic and personality. And there may be herbs that can do some of what an herb will do. Like Palawala is one of the main herbs that I focus on, and I actually learned about that herb from Sadie. Uh, there's another herb like Tormentilla. I think you might have heard me talk about Tormentilla. Tormentilla is like the number one herb that I use and that I recommend everybody have. Just have it in your house, you know. Um, but a lot of people don't know about it, and it's harder to get in the United States because nobody really not was really selling it, and the companies I get it from are out of Canada, you know. Um, but those are
What's
herbs
that?
that
Say
huh?
that name again.
Well, it's called, all right. The English word is tormentil, right? And it's the word,
Tormentil.
yes, the word torment, Tormentil, and then but you can find it more readily using the Spanish name of it, and the Spanish name is, they pronounce it tormentilla, and it's
Oh, Thea.
the word, yeah, but
Mm.
it's the word spelled torment with an ILLA on the end of it, so it's like would be tormentilla, and that herb. I mean, people just need to research it and see. I've done. I mean, the stuff that I've done with that, it's been miraculous. I started using that herb in the '90s, and when I was living in LA, a friend of mine and we started using it. We started experimenting on sisters that had uterine fibroid tumors. And the reports started coming back. The sisters we were calling them, my tumor came out. My tumors are coming out. And so my friend, he he used to go get them. He would collect them. He would go take them out of the toilet. And I was like, wow. And he was like, man, you got to see these things. You got to see them. I said, no, man, I have no desire to see one. And he was like, man, they look like little creatures, man. I said, I believe you. Um, yeah, more power to you. I just want to know that they're coming out and this stuff is working. You know what I mean? I don't have any desire to see a fibroid tumor that has just come out of a system. But
Mm.
so I don't know what he did with them. I haven't even talked to him about what he did with them, and I do talk to him every now and then because he's still in LA. But I got to ask him what he did with those tumors, what happened to him. But he used to collect them, so that was when I started using the herb tormentilla, and then I started using it for like tumors and cancers and things like that, and it's like working miraculously. I had a guy who I was just telling a brother, people in Atlanta should know Dr. Richardson. We were having a conversation, and I got called. A brother had gangrene in both his legs, and they were going to amputate his legs, both of them, right above the knees. And I got called on Sunday. This man was scheduled for Wednesday. The amputation was scheduled for Wednesday, so that was like 4 days. We got him to Tormentilla right away and just said inundate him with the Tormentilla. That brother is walking, or he got both his legs right now. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So people got to know that it really works. I used it for, when I started researching it, I found out that they do make a lot of pharmaceuticals from it. Um, it will neutralize any venomous substance. If you get bit by any poisonous venomous snakes and you inundate yourself with it, it'll neutralize the venom, any poisonous spiders. It'll get rid of any tumors, cysts, polyps, things like that. It just sucks the life out of them. And I have a good friend of mine. I think I've mentioned this on one of the other episodes. Um, and I'll even give his name. His name is Jamie Brown. And he wrote a book called I Ate My Way Back to Health, How I Ate My Way Through a Brain Tumor. And he had a brain tumor that was pressing on the back of his eye, and it had developed. And the doctors told him, because I'm going to make a long story short, the doctors told him that there was nothing you could do naturally with herbs and diet and nutrition that could help and deal with anything related to the brain. So I asked him, I said, wait a minute, man. I said, does that make any sense? I said, were you born with the brain tumor? He said, no. I said, you acquired it, right? He said, yeah. I said, anything you acquire, you can get rid of. I said, if you acquired an old raggedy car and you didn't want it, what would you do? You would take steps necessary to get rid of that car, right? He said, yeah. I said, so you got a tumor in you. You need to take the steps to get necessary for you to get rid of that tumor. And he said, well, what should I do? And I put him on a protocol to get rid of the tumor. And I gave him the tormentilla. I said, this tormentilla, you have to get this in your body as much as you can every day and just get it in there. At I think it was maybe 2 months, the doctors they went in his head. They convinced him to go in his head. They went in there or got in there. The tumor was almost totally gone. They said it was liquefying and draining it down into his ear canal. And
Mm.
so, you know that Dr. Sanjay Gupta?
Yeah.
He's on like one of CNN or some one of those. He's the one that did the surgery. And so they called Jamie like this medical marvel now. And they had sent him to like Japan and places and everything because they can't understand how he could have gotten rid of the tumor, you know. And then he turned around and wrote the book, I Ate My Way Back to Health, you know. But all I had him doing, I had him on that one single herb, tormentilla, and it shrink that tumor.
Mm.
Tormentilla, if you stay on tormentilla and you have any type of tumors and you stay on it consistently for a couple months, you know, uh, it's gone. It's gone, or
Where can
it'll be gone.
where
Go
can
ahead.
you get it? Is it?
There, okay. You can actually find it on Amazon,
Mm.
but the places that I get it, there's two companies out of Canada. One is called Herbie's Herbs, and it's in Canada, and the other one is called Sunrise Botanics, and both of them uh, sell it. I just recently got some from Herbie's because I flip flop between the companies because the price fluctuates. So right now, Herbie's is selling it cheaper than Sunrise. So I ordered it through Herbie's Herbs, but
Mm.
you just need to, go online and look for Herbie's Herbs and Sunrise Botanics and go in and find Tormentilla. The prices that you see are in Canadian dollars, right?
Mhm.
So what I always do is when I see the price, I just go Google the price and convert it to dollars, American dollars, and it'll give you the price of what it is in American dollars. And then when you purchase it, they make the adjustment. They charge you the price in American dollars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's good to get. I gave it to one of my dogs last year. One of my dogs got bit by a copperhead snake in the face, and his head blew up like a balloon, man. It got
Mm.
huge. And I wasn't in town, but I had some here. And because my son called me freaking out and he sent me a picture of the dog. And I said, listen, man, just get the tormentilla. There's some in the refrigerator. And I said, put it in his dog food every day. Put a bunch of it in his dog food every day. And got rid of it, man. He's fine. So
Mm.
it's
Amazing.
amazing herb though, man. It'll get rid of any infections. Like if you have infections or you're prone to infections, just get on it. You will not get infections. My mother's 97. She was having problems with her vision. I just got back. A week ago, I got back from visiting her because I have her on it. She's drinking it every day, a couple times a day, in a liquid form. And what happened is the doctor said that her vision, because we didn't know why her vision was failing her, but she's 97 years old. Some of us we thought like it might just be kind of like how it is. But they said it's due to infections. And I was like, infections. Oh man, that's the easy one to deal with. So I just put her on the Tormentia, man. So we'll see, see how it goes. I
Mm.
started last week on it.
Now,
So
now,
that's it.
Ahsa, Ahsa,
Yeah. Yes.
talk about till death do your part.
All
Let's
right.
let's get into that a little bit. Then I want to go to the panel so
Okay.
for get their input and
Okay.
questions.
Okay. So death to you part really is a broad topic because there's all streams of information on every subject and topic out there that exists, right? And we basically, as individuals, have a responsibility to seek for enlightenment and truth, and live that. You understand? And so the information that I bring to the table is this information based on food as it relates to health, and herbs and as it relates to health. So when people come to me and like being on your broadcasts and the shows that I'm on, it's my responsibility to enlighten people and give them some sort of sense of oh wow, I can look into this, and I may not fully understand it, but I have a responsibility now because this has sparked my interest, and there's some sensibility in it. See, the thing about it, your spirit's already going to connect to generally common sense, what is inert in you that's sensible, right? So when somebody tells you something, and you might be like, huh? It was like the first time Sabi told me carrots were poisonous. So I had two other people that in my early times, I was told that carrots were toxic, right? And by three different people at different times. And I was like, my first time talking to Sabi, I was like, why? And he's like, well, because they're unnatural. I'm like, huh? It didn't make sense at the time because I've been programmed to think they're good for me, right? So I was like, first of all, I'm like, well, why would this person lie? First of all, and that's what you got to look at. If somebody hits you with some information that strikes you as to, wait a minute, this is going against everything that I know, that I believe. Um, are you just going to turn your back on it, or question it, maybe, and then look into it to whatever degree you want to look into it so that it could potentially benefit you? You know what I mean? And so, when I started doing the research on carrots, I found out, wow, he's telling the truth. You know what I mean? And normally when I do lectures and presentations, I bring the proof so I can show people and show them the route to go to do research and things. But getting back to the topic, is the same principle applies basically with everything. You know what I mean? When you hear something, don't take it for, like at face value unless you just believe it. Oh, this makes sense, I believe it. What I mean? Do your own homework, investigate. That's why I tell people all the time, I'm always open for people to contact me. You know what I mean? If people want to do research, they can do research. If people want to know, see, I've never been one of those people that say, oh, I have the information, I have this, and nobody else has it, and nobody else can have it. If someone gets in touch with me and wants to know, okay, well, what herbs are in your formula, I'll tell you what herbs are in my formula. You know what I mean? Because the people that want to get my herbs are going to get my herbs from me, right? If you want to go out and make your own formula based, I'm not telling you my exact formula, the ratios, but I'm going to tell you, I can comfortably tell you what's in my formula. I don't have a problem with that. You understand? Because I'm here to benefit people. I'm not here to be selfish, and that's the problem with people. So many people are selfish and think just because you come up with an idea, you can't. You got to hold it, and you got to harness it and take control of it. No, the creator and creation is going to give me exactly what I need, what I'm supposed to have. So I don't trip on that. You know what I mean? You want to know my formula? I'm not going to give you my formula, but here, these are the herbs that are my formula, and go out and get them. You want to know where to get them? Here, and do your homework, and you'll find places to get them too. I don't have a problem with that. But the thing is, with all information, it should be like that. We're supposed to be uplifting one another in every aspect of life. So we can
Also,
live it. Go ahead.
can I say this?
Yes,
People were programmed that way to be
of course,
selfish. Yeah,
exactly. And we
yeah,
got to get out of that.
yeah. That's systematic,
Hmm.
and definitely, this is why you and what you're speaking of. Each one teach one. You see that right in the
Exactly.
background, right
Yep.
there.
Right in the background. Exactly.
That's right. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So, and so I'm just saying that that's how we have to be. We have to get rid of the selfishness and stop saying I. It's not about I. It's about us. You understand? Because you don't exist as I, you exist as us. Yeah, I used to tell my son when he was little, I said, listen, you're the center of a circle, and everything is impacted, everything around you is impacted by you. You know what I mean? And I said, so you just have to understand that everything is cause and effect. What you do within your circle will cause an effect outside of your circle. You understand? So we all have to be beacons of light for the outside, and we have to live it so that we can uplift one another as a whole. You know what I mean? And like you say, if we can get rid of the selfishness, and everybody thinking, I have this, I have that, I have this knowledge, I have that. You know what I mean? We'll be a lot better off. So that's the whole premise of um, till death do your part, because you have a responsibility and an obligation to do your part while you're here. You know what I mean?
So,
So,
if Asa, if you look at nature, it took
mhm,
us to get you, and then it's going to take you and somebody else to get another
exactly.
individual. So yeah, it's nature is very powerful. So also let me get to the panel. I'm gonna go to Natasha Wilburn. Natasha, can you unmute Natasha? Maybe she's not ready to unmute.
Where's Wilburn?
I don't know. Okay, let's go to Ahi, brother Ahi.
Yes, sir,
Question.
brother.
What's
Uh,
going on? How you doing, man?
hey, brother. I'm doing well, and probably be doing a lot better when I'm through talking to you and asking you a couple of questions. Like
Okay.
I'm at the age now where, like, I still work with my hands and stuff, and I'm getting little arthritic in them, and I have had in the last couple of years, I had a couple of cases. I mean, a couple of bouts with gout.
Oh my gosh, that's an easy one.
You know.
Uh, that okay. So gout, arthritis, bursitis, and everything that comes from
Hmm.
uric acid in the body, right? Uric
Right.
acid, like, right? So you know that. So
Right.
what causes uric acid? Do you know?
Um, your kidneys not being able to process the the uh
You
the,
got it.
the food that you take in.
Yeah. So what it is, okay? You're scratching it. Yeah, yeah. So what it is protein.
Yeah,
Protein,
protein. Yeah.
protein when you ingest protein, and what happens is the body really can't use protein the way that we've been programmed to think that we can use protein, right? Because we think that we need and we got to eat protein and all that. But that's a bunch of BS, because when you study nature and you look at nature, what do gorillas eat? What do giraffes eat? What do hippopotamuses eat? Elephants eat, right? They eat all green leaf vegetation. So we've been programmed to think that we got to eat, certain things and ingest and have a certain amount of protein content in our body, which is totally false, right? Because protein is basically, for me to put it in words, it's cell shit, right? Protein is the byproduct of the metabolism of cells, right? Because when you do enough research, you'll find out that there's no cell that requires protein. Cells live off of mineral ions, electrical frequencies that's produced by minerals. Every cell in existence, right? No such thing as a cell that lives off of protein. So get that in your head. And I'll get into a little more. So what happens is you eat this protein foods, and what in the waste, your body's going to convert protein foods, the byproduct of the protein, into one of two things: either carbonic acid or uric acid. Carbonic acid depletes the blood of oxygen. Like carbonated beverages, that's carbonic acid that they put in there artificially. They tell Olympic athletes during the Olympics to stay off of carbonated beverages. Why? Because it takes oxygen out of the body. Oxygen is the catalyst by which every cell in the human body lives. So you want as much oxygen in the body as possible. If the protein doesn't convert into carbonic acid, it will convert into uric acid. Uric acid is what causes calcification and crystallization in the body, which causes your bursitis, your arthritis, and all the pain that you suffer, and causes infections, all sorts of stuff, right? So main thing that you got to do is reduce protein consumption and
Like
start
flesh.
yeah, because I'm gonna give you a picture of protein that you should be able to see crystal clear, right? First of all, what is the first food that human beings should be eating? The first food. Do you know?
The first food that we should eat,
Yes.
organic
Yeah, but
food,
organic what?
greens.
Okay, we got it. Greens and fruit, right? Because we're
Okay.
supposed to be able to pick something and put it in your mouth and eat it. You understand? That's food. You go to a life source and pick it and eat it. That's the first food that nourishes the human body. Everything else is secondary after that. Everything else that we eat. But we're eating all this other stuff. Why? Because we've been programmed to eat all this other stuff, right? So the first food for man is green leaf vegetation and fruit. That's the first food. Now, when you think of protein, tell me a protein food that you can think of that has a lot of protein that you can just take it and put it in your mouth and eat it, that does not require preparation.
Besides greens,
Yeah, a
um,
protein food. It's because people don't think of protein when they think of greens. That's not what people think of. When people think of protein, what do they think of? Flesh. Well, I
meat.
got
Yeah,
to
flesh.
eat meat or beans. Like the vegetarian people that have been programmed, they think, oh, well, we got to eat beans. We got to eat legumes, something like that, because it's high in
Mm.
protein. Because we think we got this protein thing programmed in our head, right?
Yeah,
But you can't
nuts and greens.
yeah, protein foods, protein foods, right, require preparation, which means they're secondary. They're not the first food you want to eat if you want dynamic health. If you want to eat for pleasure and enjoyment and compromise yourself on a cellular level, then you eat protein foods. You understand? But if you want really dynamic health, then you need to eat as much green leaf vegetation and fruit as possible, and also sea vegetation. You can eat sea vegetation. There's no bad sea vegetations. All sea vegetations are edible.
By
And those
dynamic, you mean what?
say that again. I'm sorry.
By dynamic, what do you mean?
Oh, by dynamic, I mean foods that'll really heal and strengthen you. See, that's what people don't understand, why the herb business in the herbal realm of herbs nowadays is so big and so popular. You understand? It's because all the herbs are doing is nourishing you. That's all they're doing, because we're not eating food. What everybody's eating for enjoyment is not food. Herbs are food. That's why, you get something wrong with you and you don't want to go to the doctor, and someone says, oh, you need to take this herb. You take this herb. All you're doing is ingesting a food that repairs or does something to you on a cellular level that will cause a healing inside of you, you know? And that's just that's what's happening. But for us now, because we've been so programmed, herbs isn't primary. You understand? You get up in the morning and think you need to eat whatever you eat, whatever they told us to eat. Bacon, eggs, toast, bread, potatoes, all this stuff that you shouldn't be eating in the morning. We just been programmed to eat it because when the Industrial Revolution came around, they programmed everybody to eat from these basic food groups and told you that we need to eat this, that, and this, and that, and this, and the other. And so we've been doing it. And it's causing everybody to have some kind of health complication. And that's the reality. Because first of all, if you study anything about food, how can you eat a piece of bread and meat at the same time? Because it takes two different enzymes to digest the two, right? So the enzyme for your bread is totally different than the enzyme for meat. So whatever hits your tongue first is going to program your brain. Your brain's going to say, oh, this is meat. Boom. It's going to cause the digestive enzyme to break down meat in your digestive system. The bread is not going to get digested properly, and it's going to form starch and mucus and waste that eventually circulates in the human body, because you'll pass a lot of it out through your bowel movements, but you won't pass all of it out. And a lot of it will get impacted in your colon. So you just have to understand the whole the whole dynamic of the food industry. You have to understand that, but then you have to understand and look at you as being a natural being. There's no such thing, for instance, I'll give you an example. There's no such thing as a carnivorous animal that sweats in nature. Human beings are the only animal that sweats that feels like they should be eating meat. Human beings are the only animal that can move their jaw like this, side to side, that are carnivores. Natural animals don't do that. Carnivores' mouths move up and down, and that's it. You know what I mean? We're the only carnivorous animals that are bipeds, walk on 2 feet all the time. There's a bunch of stuff. We're the only carnivorous animals that have a super long intestine. Carnivorous animals have very short intestines, and they have a high amount of hydrochloric acid in their digestive system, like 5 times what we have. So it shows you that we're not supposed to be carnivores originally. You know what I mean? But the way mankind has progressed through history and had to rely on eating flesh at points to sustain himself, that's where it all came from. But then when the Industrial Revolution came around, they started pushing the consumption of flesh. And so we started eating flesh, because when you go back and, in the 1400s, you look at the Native Americans, they ate little flesh. You understand? They would kill buffalo or whatever and deer, and they would, dry it or whatever and have it and eat jerky, but 80% of their diet was vegetation. And then when you look at during slavery, it was food crops that was the dominant thing on the table, right? There was very little meat that was available, because basically we were dealing with what? Growing stuff. And so it was eating the things that were grown on the farms. And that's what it is. So all that to say to you, if you focused on eating vegetation and started really getting off of things that consciously are protein foods, your pain will go away. Your arthritis will go away. You understand? So that's all I'm telling you.
All right. Okay, let me get to Professor Ra. Professor Ra,
What's going on, Professor Ra?
you got to unmute. You have to unmute.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. It's good to see you,
man. Yeah. Throughout history, as you was pointing out, through the evolution, most humans evolved from eating fruit, and they were food gathering.
Right.
And then as they got more organized, they began to get into agriculture and produce food to stop the gathering because of the hazards of doing that. My point is that, you know, changing carnivores, the contemporary carnivore, I'm talking about the ones that are seduced by advertisement and by parental menus, parents feeding them. It creates a very deep habit of eating meat and eating things that are harmful. It causes cancer or causes other illness, mucus, and all kinds of stuff. Now, when you prescribe or suggest to people to use these herbs, do you also ask them to change their diet?
Of course. You have to.
All right. Now, so they have to be really into wanting to get well or feel better or stay healthy and committed, and it takes a lot of discipline. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, my point is it's not easy.
No, it's not.
With the peer pressures and if you grow up and your parents put fried chicken and giblets and all kind of stuff on the table, and and from baby food, beech nut, processed food, many kids come up on processed food. It may be baby food, it may be schools serve all kind of stuff. How challenging is it when you talk to young people? Is the percentage of people you talk to people that want to learn how to stay healthy and be healthy, or people that are having bad experience like obesity or some type of related illness from that standpoint, based on diet or based upon the need to get rid of fibroids or get rid of acne or whatever, as you said, the blood, some of the herbs that you suggest serves as as like an antibiotic, nature's antibiotic. How you deal with it?
So what happens is I would say the majority of people, even if people don't let you know, are coming because they have some kind of health issue that's bothering people, and they're seeking for some solution or answers. And that's why so many of these people out here nowadays that are doing herbs and alternative healing, the industry is really like exploding. It's so big now, and so what happens is most people come to me, and even people that, like, when I was doing a lot of lectures, I knew that people are coming in to the lectures to hear a solution, a remedy, because something's going on with them that they don't feel good about. And so, yeah, so my responsibility is to show them, put them on a diet, and point them in the direction of the herbs that will assist. Because actually, sometimes you don't even have to have the herbs. Sometimes maybe this person herbs aren't available to you. But if you focus on the diet and you really clean your system, I think we got into this on a couple of other episodes. I'm at a point now where I tell people, look, almost everything that we're eating is adulterated. If you're buying it from a store, a grocery store, pretty much, I don't care if you're buying it from the health food store or whatever, it's adulterated to some degree, right? They're gene spliced and all sorts of stuff into vegetables at this point. They're putting all this synthetic stuff in. in preservatives and stuff in fruits and vegetables so they can last on a shelf for 1 or 2 years, So all this stuff is taking place at this point. People aren't focused on nature and natural foods. So since I'm starting to be focused on nature and natural food, I'm starting to study what's out in the woods, in the fields that just grows wild, that can be eaten, that's food. But the average person is not going about doing that. So people have to focus on cleansing. You got to learn how to stop eating the junk that you're eating. I don't care what it is, whether it be fruit, a vegetarian diet or whatever. You have to learn how to stop doing it, and you got to learn how to fast and detox and clean your body out, because the body's already a self-generating and self-healing entity. So there's no reason for it to really break down if you're not obedient to it. And the only way to be obedient to it is what? Is to fast, stop doing what you're doing, and allow your body to do what it does naturally and make the adjustments and steps in it for you to get healing. You know what I mean? But that also requires some support, because like you said, there's so much pressure on people, peer pressure, family pressure, for people to eat certain things that they're eating. It's just a mental discipline. It's, if you really want health, you get the information and you have to find a way that you can implement it in your life, regardless of the pressure you're getting from the outside world, And that's why there's people like me, and I know other groups, I know sisters that go out and and people that go out and do what they call life support and try to help people in these areas to give them some support, some sort of a support system. So
you remember in the 70s, mid-70s and going into the early 80s, out in LA and maybe even nationally, they had this herbal life movement, businesses, they said herbal life.
I remember kind of when that came out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but how did you see that from your vantage point looking back at it?
Yeah, you know what? I never really gave it a whole lot of energy back then. I wasn't into it back then because, back then, like in the 70s, life was good for me. You know what I mean? I'm running around, in my late teens, early 20s, and I'm running around enjoying life. I'm a musician, you know what I mean? And I'm traveling the world and everything else. So I didn't have any reason to give it any energy. But what happened was in 1987, I started getting sick and feeling sick. And, I started going to the doctors, and the doctors weren't coming up with any remedy or any reason. They couldn't diagnose me with anything. And I'm like, damn, this isn't right, man, because I was in bad shape. So what happened was I had a friend who I allowed to live with me because I had this house, and I told him what was going on with me. He said, "Man, you need to go to this place," and it was an alternative health clinic that was in Venice Beach, California. And so I started going there and getting, doing colonics and different things. And I started reading books that they had for sale there. And in reading the books, it started waking me up to say, wait a minute, if this information in these books is true, then that means everything that I know and grew up knowing and thinking it related to health is wrong. And so I just went into it deeper and deeper, and kept reading and reading until things actually started coming together and making sense, and then eventually, and then I met Sabi, and that's when everything really just fell into place.
Mm-hmm.
And I just took off with it running like that because I started to live it.
Okay.
All right, Professor Rock.
I got just one quick question, if you don't mind. What role does berries and nuts play, or do they have a role in the type of?
Yes. Well, berries, depending on the berries are very good for you. You know what I mean? But what happens is now we have all these berries that are been GMO'd and hybridized, and just they've done so much to them, like a strawberry, for instance. because a real strawberry is like a little tiny little berry about the size of maybe like the size of a dime, and they grow wild. You can see them, but they're not all big and really sweet like what you get in the grocery store, But I tend not to eat strawberries anymore. I mean, if they're in something, I might go ahead and eat it, but I kind of lean away from those. But even when you look at like blackberry, which are phenomenal for you, real ones, raspberries, blueberries, they're all very good for you, But if you just keep your eye on stuff in the store, you can tell that they're messing with it. Like I think like probably within a year, this last year, I saw these blueberries in the grocery store that they're the size of like a nickel. I was like, blueberries don't grow this big. I won't eat them. I'm afraid to eat them. Really, to be honest with you, I'm like, I'm not eating this blueberry, giant blueberries and giant strawberries and all this stuff. So when it comes to berries, they're very good for you, but you just kind of got to understand that they're messing with the berries, and it's not like we're going out in nature. Like this year, the property that I live on has wild, blackberries growing all over it. So every time I see them, I just pick them. I stop right there, I pick them, and I get to eating them, But like I said, everything in the grocery store is manipulated by the pharmaceutical industry. So you have to understand that. So that's why I said it's like you got to learn how to cleanse. But keep eating your fruit and keep eating it. But now when it comes to nuts, certain nuts are okay. Nuts are kind of like a protein food, and too many nuts aren't good for you. But the best nuts to eat are pine nuts, which I have some somewhere in here in this room on me. I eat them periodically. What's another good nut? A walnut is decent. Walnuts aren't going to hurt you too much. You can eat walnuts. Pecans are okay. You can get away with eating those. Almonds are okay in moderation. Generally, almonds are better for you if they're roasted because it takes some of the acid, the cyanide, arsenicides out of almonds because that's what they have in them if they're roasted. But cashews, Brazil nuts, need to leave them alone. Like I was telling the brother earlier, they're foods that require a lot of require preparation. You gotta pick them and then dehull them or take crack the shell on them and everything else. So just know that they're not the first thing that you should be focused on in ingesting as in your diet. All right.
Okay. I'll
All
let the
right.
sister. I think sister had her hand up.
Yeah. It's Tawita. Tawita. You're on mute.
Tawita,
Hey,
Tawita,
yes.
answer the phone. No, go ahead.
Well, thanks for
Oh,
the
there she is.
invite. Whoever invited me, Takoa, Teresa, and the whole crew,
Indeed.
and Lakesh, everybody. Thanks, Ahsa. I had
How
a
are you?
question for you, Ahsa. Look at this. Can you see this?
Tawita, look at her.
Wait, can you see? Oh man. Wait, I got this filter on the back. So I got these herbs right here that I've been eating like every day, but I don't think you can tell what it is.
You're making them look. It's making you look like the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
What is that? I'm trying to see
this background. Anyway, it's holy basil.
Oh, okay.
And I really, really love it. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about holy basil, Kinkaliba tea, and Harataki.
Okay,
You know about those?
I don't know a whole lot about holy basil. I've never even researched it or anything. Okay. I've never gotten into it, but that'll be my next subject of research. I will go into it deep. You said Kinkaliba?
Yes.
I just made some about 2 hours ago. Yes.
What?
Yes, Kinkaliba. So Kinkaliba is a tea that grows on a tree in West Africa, right? It's a tree that holds a lot of leaves. Doesn't get super big, but it gets nice size. It is a phenomenal plant for blood purification and energy.
Okay.
And immune system support.
Okay.
That's another plant that I actually learned about from Staby. That
Okay.
yeah, and then so Staby talked about he calls it he kept telling me it's the mother of coffee. I said, what? He said, it's the mother of
Oh
coffee.
yeah,
He said,
right.
if you want the energy and life that you get from drinking a cup of coffee,
What?
drink the King Kiliba tea. And I was like, okay.
Yes.
And so everywhere I go, where I spend a good amount of time, I try to find somewhere where I can find King Kiliba.
I got
King,
loads of it.
yeah, where are you getting it from?
I'm getting it from a brother from West Africa. He's from Senegal.
Okay, you're getting it directly from somebody. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because if people are interested in King Kiliba, you can get it from a lot of African markets, like that are run by
Right. That's the only place I've seen it. It's
right
over
it's
there,
brothers that stores that are like Senegalese, Gambia. There's a store out here in Atlanta that's where I was purchasing it from the first when I found out.
Fruits and veggies.
No. He gets it now too. What's his name? Morrow. He gets it. There's a place in Atlanta called Fruits, Herbs, and Veggies, right? Isn't that the proper name? Something like that.
Yeah.
And so he has it. And also, I don't even know the name of the place I get it from because it's really like a big African meat place. You know what I mean? It's a meat market, but they sell it in Kiliba and they sell it for like $4 a bag. And so I go crazy. Yeah, I just go there and just buy a whole bunch of it when I go.
It. Huh? How does it make you feel? How do you feel when you drink it?
You know what? I can't even tell you really because I feel good all the time. But
gotcha.
no, but I make it like I was at a period of time. I make this thing I call Triple J juice, and
J juice.
Yeah, I'm not even going into that whole thing. I just that's just the name I put on it. But what it is, it's King Kiliba, fennel. I put cinnamon sticks in it. A plant called Flor de Manita, which is a phenomenal plant for your heart.
Flor de Manita.
Flor de Manita. It's really good for your heart. You can use it and make a tea out of it and rinse your eyes with it. It's phenomenal for that too. But I put Flor de Manita in it, and then a little. I put bloodroot in it. Cinnamon. I think I put a little bloodroot in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Bloodroot.
Yeah, because I was drinking it. I used to make it like all the time and drink it every single day. Because I make it. Usually when I make like just today when I made the King Kiliba today, I made about 1.5 gallons of it, and I have this big glass round jar vase thing that I pour it in, and it has a spout on it, and I just keep it in the refrigerator. And every day I just go and put a glass up to it and fill it up and I just drink it like a tea because it tastes so good. So people that are listening, just know that King Kiliba is a really nice tasting leaf. The only
I got loads of it, y'all. Put my number in the chat. You want some? I didn't call to advertise, but I can't drink all this tea myself. Okay.
No, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. So
yeah, and also I work on a farm, so I do have access to fresh food. I eat holy basil a lot. And you can come out to the farm on Fridays when we have Farm Fresh Fridays. We may not have it this Friday because it's due to rain, but I work at Patchwork City Farms in the West End. And it's on the corner of 902 Pinehurst. On the corner of Pinehurst and Richland, actually.
I don't even know.
So yeah, Farm Fresh Fridays from 3 to 6. So before I let you go, I'm dealing with like a lung issue, and I wanted you to give me anything I could do with lungs. I know about the deep breathing. I know that's number 1, but any herbs that.
What's number 2?
Moringa seeds. Are they really really good?
Yeah. You know what? I've never gone into moringa real deep, so I won't say I want it because I won't talk on that because I just don't know. But mullein. Mullein tea.
We got that on the farm.
And Irish moss and sea moss are like 2 of the best things you can put in your lungs. You know what I mean? Yeah, those are really phenomenal for your lungs. What is your phone? What is the way people can contact you?
Phone number is 98829.
Say it again.
And yeah, my name is Tahita, so you can text me and let me know that you were on a call. You heard me on a call with Ahsa, and you want some of this Kinkaliba tea because I got loads of it.
Right.
Loads of it, and it's so delicious. It's nutty, it's earthy, it doesn't need sweetener. You can just drink it like that.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
really
squeeze some
nice.
lime in there if you like, a little honey, you know, if
Yeah.
you eat honey. But yeah, it's really good stuff.
Yeah, it's really nice tasting. I tried one time. I took some of the leaves, a bunch of the leaves, and put them in my coffee grinder, and
Okay.
I put them in my coffee grinder, and I put them in the drip coffee machine, and I
Sure.
made the tea like that. And let me tell you something, it was so bitter. I could,
Oh, what?
yeah, it was a trip. It was
Oh, you
bitter.
extracted all the stuff then. It's
I
like
was
that.
like, wow, it blew my mind. And I've also come close to like, I've made it like really strong by accident. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
I could, some of the bitter taste started coming out of it.
Oh,
So
right.
just know that it can get really bitter if you really, but the initial taste of it, if you don't make it super
So pleasant.
strong, is
Super
so
good.
nice. It is such a
And it
nice.
makes you feel really good. And
Yeah.
what I've been doing, I take a handful and I just put it in the crock pot and just let it simmer through the night. And in the morning have some, and in the night have some, and it's so good.
Right.
And just add a little bit more water in case it simmers down. So yeah,
And
that's
we're
all I
gonna,
want to say. Oh, one more thing. You
I
would be
know.
proud of me, Ahsa, because I picked me some amaranth today.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's the best stuff you
Amaranth.
can.
Oh yeah,
But okay,
Callaloo,
but
amaranth.
yes, that's
Okay.
it. But
Well,
let
let
me say
me,
one thing, because you missed, what you missed, Harataki?
Harataki, yeah.
Harataki. All right, so I'm just gonna say this:
Mhm.
be careful with mushrooms and fungus. And I will share that. No, you know, because I'm still doing my investigation and research on
Now
it.
I didn't know
On 'em.
Harataki was a mushroom.
It's a fungus, ain't it? Oh no, Harataki is that. Isn't it? Wait a minute.
It's a. It
I,
looks like nutmeg. The
yeah. No,
yeah, it
no,
does.
I'm not sure that.
It's
No,
a
no.
fruit actually from England.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's not even. That's just divert from what I was getting ready to go into.
Okay.
okay,
Because that's
Asa.
a real. Go ahead.
Asa, we
Go
got
ahead.
3 people I haven't got to. I want to get to
All
them
right.
quick.
Okay.
Because I got
Uh,
to answer. Dr. Mumbi has some stuff.
Thank you so
yeah, that's
much.
where I'm going to
Love you,
Dr.
today.
Appreciate
Moonby.
you.
Dr. Moonby, good evening. You got to unmute Dr. Moonby. How you doing?
Yes, greetings, everyone. I'm thankful. How are you?
Good.
What's up, Doc?
I'm doing good.
All right.
Getting ready to start the Kalima.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, deep tissue cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm good. Just,
Okay.
staying focused, committed, making those
Okay.
commitments, recommitting.
Did you want anything or any questions, or did you want to? Because I saw something popped up with your number.
No, I'm listening and taking some notes that will help me with this next with this next cleanse I'm beginning.
Okay, great.
So yeah, because I like Tahita, I need to work on my lungs other than the breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kinkiliba, I tried to phonetically spell it in the chat. No one has corrected
Oh,
it.
that's what you were doing.
But
I saw it. Yeah, and I was like, oh.
yeah, so I'll just reach out to you, Tahita.
Well, I'll tell you right now. Kin, kin,
Uh-huh.
Kil, kill, IBA.
Okay, so I just did 2 L's.
Right.
Okay, very good.
And you can Google. There's a market also. I'm not trying to cut into your thing, Tarita, but there's a market that I do know the name of, which is on the west side on Old National, called Tuba. I think it's Touba, if I'm not mistaken. I think and they may be Senegalese. but they also sell Kinkili.
Okay, great.
But if Tahita has it, call Tahita.
Yeah, I will.
Nice.
All right.
I,
Okay.
All
I,
right, go
I
ahead.
see her more than I see Onadel.
Yeah, that's the thing. All right.
All right.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Sandy Johnson.
Get out of here. Unique, you there?
Sandy.
Oh, Sandy.
Probably just listening.
Okay.
All right.
Well, maybe she's
Okay,
not
let's
here.
go to Mashinda. We'll come back. Brother Mashinda? Mashinda might be just listening also.
Lucinda, what are you doing, man? Stop
Okay,
playing.
well, look, Asa,
Let me drink my.
you have a standing invitation here.
Okay.
So we want to get as much information about food as we could get. And so what do you want to leave us with this evening?
Oh, well, also, brother asked about nuts. Pumpkin seeds are cool. Pumpkin seeds, squash seeds, those are good for you and they won't hurt you. So just know that. Even like watermelon seeds, if you wanted to eat watermelon seeds, you could eat watermelon seeds.
Okay, with the watermelon seeds, can you just swallow them whole? Is that good, or you need to chew them?
No, chew them. I
Okay, you
used
want to
to,
bring.
yeah, because if you swallow them whole, they're going to come out whole. Your
Okay,
body's not going to break them down like that. But I mean, you could take them and roast them. Some places you can find them sometimes for sale, but you could roast them and eat them. You know, those are seeds that are good to eat, and pumpkin seeds. Like I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking my sea moss,
okay,
and I make my sea moss base with pumpkin seeds, and then I make
oh,
all these different types of sea moss. I make all these different. I make papaya moss. This happens to be cocoa
okay,
moss, and I make regular spice moss. I make mango moss. So it just depends.
okay.
Okay.
Well,
So
I appreciate everybody showing up tonight. Let me tell you who we have on Wednesday, and we'll see if Professor Ra has. Well, we go to Professor Ra. Professor Ra, can you unmute, or did you step away? So
I'm here. I'm here.
what we have come going for next week, Tuesday.
Okay. Just yeah, yeah. Uh, I'll call you, Rashiki.
Okay.
I'm trying to get Oswald crazy. All right.
Okay. Good.
All right.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. So next week on Wednesday we have Noor Mayat, and some of you guys may know who she is. If you don't know who she is, she's based in Atlanta. I know we got some Atlanta people here. And matter of fact, Dr. Moonby know exactly who she is. So, and you might know who she is too, Asa, because I met her through you. But the topic is self-governance, the republic, and capitalism in the age of democracy. So
mhm.
that's for next week. And it's always good to have you here, Asa. Good information. And I need
It's a
to
pleasure.
call you. I need to call you about a few things because I need some more information. So
Okay.
I would like to thank everybody for showing up this evening, and also
Can I
if
interrupt
you
you real quick?
go ahead.
Um, Anybody that wants to reach me, because um, I still have that book, right? So anybody who's on new that doesn't have the book that I'm giving people, um, I need to give you my email address, and you just need to send me an email and request the book, and I'm going to send it to you as an email file, because it's the book that Sabe used to use to get tons of information and everything, and people responsible for it, they made him shut the book down and made him take it off the market, and then they had him change it if they wanted it to be out there in the public domain, they had to change it. So they changed it, and they were able to re-release it. But what happened is I got an original copy, and so anybody wants it, I'm just giving it away for you, so you can have the information in the book form. It's a phenomenal book, phenomenal. You
And
know, on
what's the email address, Ahsa?
it's M is a Mary, ORCEGOBEY at gmail.com. Morcego Bay, MORCEGOBEY at gmail.com.
Got it.
So if you want it, you can hit that, just reach out to me and I will send it to you right away.
Ahsa, how many pages is the book?
Oh gosh. 300, 400. I don't even know.
Okay, I was just seeing if something I could print out. Okay.
Yeah, I had somebody print it out. That's how I was able to get it on this form, because it took me a couple years to get somebody to do it. And I got it, and they actually copied the original book from a copy that someone gave me, and they, I guess, what you call digitalized it so that I could email it to people.
Excellent.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's available.
All right. So we're
Bye.
gonna take our pause. Each one teach one in Conscious Corner. I will see everybody next time.
All right. Thank you for showing up, folks. Peace and blessings.